I'm glad you could join me today because I'm dealing with the ultimate lie. This is a series of 3 videos, the ultimate lie. Now, the New Age movement and Satanists have their pre-planned answers to something that the press will not be able to ignore, simply by refusing to edit it and report it and put it into the newspapers or online. I am, of course, referring to the rapture of the bride of Christ, the Ecclesia, true Christians. Millions of Christians will be caught up together with the resurrected dead in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so will be forever with the Lord. That's 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 17. Now, the scripture cannot be broken. That is going to happen. Now, how many true disciples of Yeshua will physically rise up in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the sound of the trumpet or the shofar? 1 Corinthians 15:52. It's hard to know, it's hard to estimate, but it scares the New Agers crazy. The Pope and his Vatican cronies are so deluded that they have on record stated that of course they will baptize any aliens who wanted this. Now, the lies that we have discussed have moved the world's view away from God and as creator and the creativity truth. They've moved that into a flawed theory called the theory of evolution that even denies a scientifically observed truth called entropy. That is a tendency of all things to move from a state of order to a state of disorder. That's the law of entropy. This is easily observable in a tidy garden. I mean, I tidy up my garden and a couple of days later it's in a mess again. Or think about your kid's bedroom. It's even worse. So things move from a state of order to a state of disorder, but evolution preaches the opposite. It preaches or teaches that out of slimy one-cellular creatures, they gradually form the orderly system that we call our human body. It's utter nonsense. But the lie has been believed because it's a way out of giving credit to a creator who made the heavens and the earth and all that's in them. Now, the existence of aliens, a more highly evolved species, this idea has also captured the minds of ignorant people, including the religious and political leaders of our times. After the rapture, the Pope, as I've discussed last time, the Pope will make an announcement that those awkward people who refused vaccines during the COVID pandemic, they have been caught away by aliens, not Jesus, of course, and taken to a safe place somewhere in the universe for re-education. They will learn to fit into the New World Order of Klaus Schwab's brainchild from the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland, and this is re-education Chairman Xi's style, what they do in China. Pandemics have been very useful to the WEF because they get the population to submit to strict rules like get a vaccine, wear a mask, follow the science, do as you're told. We've all got used to crises with millions of Christians, not millions of Christians, millions of people dying in the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know whether Christians died or not, but millions of people died in the COVID-19 pandemic. But now, on top of the pandemics, we now have rumours of wars and actual wars going on in Ukraine and Russia, Israel, Hamas and Hezbollah, massive famine as a result of such wars, the threat of nuclear war with Putin farcically re-elected in power until 2030. It was just a sham, but he's been re-elected for life now. Earthquakes and tsunamis are becoming more frequent as the earth is overheating. All of this, Matthew 24. And what about riots in society in the USA, the imposition of martial law in Pakistan, or Sharia law? Sharia law, Sharia is how you say it. Sharia law in Iran. All of these are being imposed upon the people. So all of this is happening before the restraining influence of Christians is removed in 2 Thessalonians 2, 6 and 7. And the WEF is now talking about polycrisis, not just one crisis, the pandemic, but wars, earthquakes, tsunamis, and all that I've just listed. Now, what we need, of course, after the disappearance of the Christians, demonic manifestation of aliens will become more common, with maybe their spacecraft landing even on the White House lawn in Washington, D.C. And one man will then appear on the world scene, and he will lead the world's government and control the digital world currency. This, of course, is the Antichrist. The Antichrist will make a peace treaty with Israel, which Bibi Netanyahu and successive American secretaries of state like Blinken, being the most recent, have not managed to achieve. But this man, he will achieve a peace treaty. This is prophesied in Daniel 9, verse 27. He declared that the Antichrist will enter into a covenant, a firm covenant, for 7 years. But in the midst of this time, in other words, halfway through, 3.5 years, he will desecrate the holy sanctuary. That's in Daniel 9:27. In Revelation, the Apostle John refers to the Antichrist as the beast, and he will have demonic power. Another reference to look through now is Revelation 13. Revelation 13, if you look through verses 8 to 17, this Antichrist man will have demonic power, causing fire to fall from heaven. He will compel all to receive his mark, otherwise they won't be able to buy or sell. And it says in verse 8 in that chapter of Revelation 13, all the inhabitants of the earth will fall down and worship him, those whose names were not written in the Lamb's book of life. The ultimate lie has been accepted. The Antichrist is God. He's got the worship he always wanted, as in Isaiah 14. So his man, the Antichrist, is the man of the beast, and he's the one appointed by Satan himself. His rule, however, is just short-lived, 3.5 years, and then we have the Great Tribulation, where all hell lets loose and God's wrath is poured upon the earth. And is it a happy ending? Yes, it's a happy ending. I read the end of the book. I always read the end of the books. And at Armageddon, Christ will triumphantly return at the second coming. We will rule and reign with him. So it's our choice. Which side do you want to be on?